Happy Wisdom Wednesday, everyone. So this week's book of the week is Grow by Jim Stengel. Jim Stengel was the former chief marketing officer at Procter & Gamble, definitely in what many regard as their glory years. They have, a variety of brands ranging from like Gillette to Old Spice. And what Jim Stengel did was he did a study to figure out why these 50 companies, which he calls the Stengel 50, outperformed the S&P 500 when it came to revenue, sales, a variety of things. And these are companies like Zappos, Amazon, Google, Nike, the companies that we always read about in business books. What he found was that not only their marketing, but their company culture and the way they did things, every bit of it mapped back to one of 5 fundamental values or human ideals. And those 5 values that he found was eliciting joy, which is essentially activating experiences around happiness and wonder and limitless possibility. Enabling connection, so enhancing the ability of people to connect with one another and in a world through meaningful ways. We can see that Facebook and Instagram is a good example of that. LinkedIn as well, professionally. Inspiring exploration, helping people to explore new horizons and new experiences. Google is a great example of that because they focus primarily on search. Evoking pride, giving people increased confidence, strength, security, and vitality. So brands like PS Mister would be a good example of that, but also, Gucci and Prada. And then impacting society, which is affecting society broadly, including challenging the status quo and redefining categories. Now, the one thing that he has in here that I really found very helpful, that I've worked with clients on developing for their own brands, is the ideal tree. So I'm going to show you what this looks like, and obviously that's why he calls the book Grow. But what Jim Stengel pretty much describes is that you want to start here by planting a seed around your ideal, and then you start sprouting up from that. But once you essentially plant the seed when it comes to your human ideal, and when you identify that one human value that your entire company should map back to, that's going to pretty much give you the guidance and be your North Star, or essentially be the seed in this case. Your beliefs and shared values are going to be stemming from this. And as your company starts to grow with your brand, you're going to be able to discover, more about your ideal. You're going to build your culture around that ideal. You communicate that ideal through your products, through your customers, the way you speak, the language that you use in your company, how that company feels. You deliver near perfect or ideal customer experiences, which is one thing that Amazon actually does very well, better than anybody, I would at least argue. And then you evaluate your progress and your people against this ideal. So if your ideal is, for example, eliciting joy, you evaluate your products and your people and say, hey, at the end of the day, are we staying true to our one fundamental human value? And I think this goes back to a classic adage in business, which is, you can think of you can't think of a single company that failed because of too much focus, but there's plenty of companies that failed because they lacked focus. And so I think, when building your own brand, not only as a company, but let's just say even as a personal brand, no matter what you do, it has to map back to some kind of ideal. So to do this exercise myself, I thought about what exactly did my personal brand stand for, and not only that, but the kind of companies I interact with. And for the most part, it's, inspiring exploration. For me, I have a hobby and a passion around books and learning and education, and I like to share that just, with everyone here on LinkedIn. But definitely, when we go about discovering brands, sure, you start touching upon these other fundamental values, such as evoking pride or eliciting joy, but you have to pick one and really focus around that and build from that. So that's your book of the week. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment below. I'm going to leave a link to Jim Stengel's website, which is a great resource for companies to go check out and learn more about how they can discover their one fundamental human ideal. And I'll see you next week.